Beyond the Hype, a fashion lifestyle tech podcast. Presented by Stephanie Williams and Greg Lewis.
Ever buy something, like maybe an energy drink or something, because the packaging looked awesome. But then you take a sip and it's like, blah. Tastes like a melted popsicle that's gone bad.
Yeah, I've been there. Bad marketing can really ruin a perfectly good morning.
Totally. And speaking of bad marketing, the crypto world has seen its fair share of those what was I thinking moments too, right? I mean, vague projects, confusing jargon, it's been a bit of a free-for-all. But what if, and just hear me out on this, what if there was a way to bring some order to the chaos? Some clarity for the average crypto enthusiast.
And that's where the EU's MiCA comes in, right?
Bingo. MiCA, or the Markets and Crypto Assets Regulation, if you want to get fancy, is basically the EU saying, okay, enough with the crypto Wild West, let's make this a safe and transparent space.
Right, it's like a global first, yeah. They're trying to establish a whole rule book for crypto assets, much like, we have for traditional finance. It's like adapting those safeguards for the digital age.
So instead of spending hours, days even, trying to decipher a 50-page white paper just to figure out if this crypto project is going to steal your life savings.
You have standardized risk assessments?
Yeah, exactly. Think of it like those nutrition labels on food. You can see the good, the bad, and the ugly before you even take a bite.
MiCA wants to put those labels on crypto, so to speak. You'll know the risks and rewards before investing a cent.
Transparency is key, right? And it's not just about the cryptos themselves. MiCA wants to shed light on the companies behind them, too. Oh, absolutely. Imagine knowing a stablecoin issuer, those cryptos pegged to, say, the US dollar actually has the funds to back it up, even when the market goes haywire.
Right, it's all about building trust.
Sure.
For crypto to really become mainstream, people need to feel confident, not constantly worried.
Exactly. It's about understanding not only what you're investing in, but who you're trusting your money with. It should be a no-brainer.
It's like choosing a tour guide, right? You want someone experienced, reliable, and upfront about where they're taking you.
MiCA wants to bring that level of accountability to the crypto market, which honestly is long overdue.
And it's not just about protecting individual investors either, is it? MiCA also looks at the bigger picture, the stability of the whole financial system. Right, exactly. If a big enough stablecoin were to fail, because they're supposed to be less volatile than other cryptocurrencies, but their connection to traditional finance means it could cause a domino effect, even on traditional markets.
So MiCA steps in to try and prevent those worst-case scenarios.
Precisely. MiCA wants these stablecoin issuers to play by the rules. Regular audits, transparency about their reserves, you name it. It's about creating a more resilient financial ecosystem for everyone.
It's like, establishing safety regulations for a brand new mode of transportation. You need those rules in place to make sure everyone's safe, not just the passengers, but the entire system.
Exactly. And speaking of rules, MiCA also tries to tackle, let's call it the elephant in the room, Decentralized Autonomous Organizations. We know them as DAOs.
Yes, DAOs. The rebels of the crypto world, right? Run by code, challenging the traditional way of doing things. How do you even begin to regulate something that's designed to exist outside the system?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is where things get very, very interesting. Well, see, MiCA, it likes things to be clear, like who's in charge, who's making the decisions, and that can be tricky with DAOs.
Because it's not always obvious.
Right. With DAOs, it's often like a bunch of token holders all voting on stuff. So who do you hold responsible if things go sideways?
It's like trying to give a parking ticket to a self-driving car.
Exactly. So MiCA is trying to build a bridge between those two worlds, the decentralized ideal and the need for some kind of, accountability.
So are you saying they basically want to give these DAOs a legal ID, hey, we're a real entity card?
In a way, yeah. They're saying some DAOs might need a designated spokesperson, someone who can be held accountable.
Wow. That could really change how DAOs operate. Do you think they'll adapt?
Some might. We might see DAOs shifting their governance models, maybe adding a bit more centralized control.
Kind of like a hybrid approach.
Exactly. But others, the diehard decentralized folks, they might resist, look for loopholes, or even operate on the fringes of the law. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
A real test for the DAO world, for sure. But this whole MiCA thing, it's bigger than just DAOs, right? The EU is setting a precedent here.
Oh, absolutely. The whole world is watching this unfold. They're like, okay, let's see what happens when you try to regulate the Wild West of finance.
And if it works, if the EU creates a safer, more transparent crypto market.
Other countries, They're going to want a piece of that. They might even adopt similar rules themselves, or at least use MiCA as a blueprint.
Like a domino effect of regulation.
Exactly. MiCA could become the gold standard for crypto regulation worldwide.
But what about innovation? That's the big question, right? Will stricter rules stifle creativity in the crypto space?
It's a valid concern. Some people argue that too much regulation could scare away startups, especially the smaller ones.
So it's a balancing act, finding that sweet spot between regulation and innovation.
Exactly. The challenge for regulators everywhere, not just the EU, is to create rules that protect consumers and the market without stifling creativity.
Because we don't want to kill the goose that lays the golden egg, right?
Yeah.
Blockchain technology has so much potential, and not just for finance.
Absolutely. Think about it. Secure digital identities, transparent supply chains, maybe even a better way to vote. These are all possibilities that blockchain brings to the table.
And a well-regulated crypto space could be the key to unlocking that potential.
Exactly. It's about making sure everyone feels safe enough to explore, to really see what this technology can do.
So MiCA is more than just a set of rules. It's a potential launch pad for a whole new wave of innovation.
And that's what makes this such a pivotal moment.
It's kind of like we're back in the early days of the internet. But this time around, we have a chance to build it right from the ground up.
Right. With a solid foundation, transparency, security, accountability, all those things MiCA's pushing for.
And this is where you come in, dear listener, because at the end of the day, the future of crypto, it's not just up to, the regulators or the big tech companies. It's up to all of us.
It's about being informed, being engaged, understanding the risks and the rewards, and, speaking up, making your voice heard about the kind of digital world you want to live in.
So as MiCA goes from this bold experiment to maybe, who knows, a global standard, we want you to stay curious, stay informed, and maybe even think about how you can be a part of this whole crypto revolution. Because this conversation, it doesn't stop here. In fact, here's something to chew on. If this whole MiCA thing works, if it actually makes crypto safer, more transparent, what then? Could it lead to even more innovation? Even things that challenge the whole idea of centralized control? Or will regulation and true decentralization, will they always be at odds? Stuff to think about as you, continue your own deep dive into the world of crypto and the future of, pretty much everything. Thanks for listening.
Beyond the Hype, a fashion lifestyle tech podcast.